Apparently Stephen A. Smith, First Take, Big Perk, all together came on today and gave huge compliments towards Caitlyn Clark, huge praise. And not only there, they were on Twitter as well, giving love to Caitlyn Clark, and people seem to not like it, man.
But she's Caitlyn Clark. She put on a show in her old stomping grounds in Iowa versus Brazil.
Stephen A. Smith just exploded like your uncle at Thanksgiving dinner, but this time, it wasn't about LeBron or the Cowboys. Nope. It was all about Caitlyn Clark possibly snatching that MVP crown as a rookie. Yep, Stephen A. went full Shakespeare meets ESPN, ranting, raving, and probably sweating through his suit while making the wildest, most entertaining case ever. Buckle up, because if Caitlyn's not your MVP yet, Stephen A. might just yell you into agreement.
Expectations for Caitlyn Clark this season.
Man, Stephen A., she is just different. She's special. Just a different type of electricity, man. Did you hear the roar of the crowd while that shot was in flight? Like, I'm expecting big things from her, especially MVP-type conversation things.
Stephen A. Smith is many things. Loud, passionate, allergic to silence, but subtle is not one of them. When he bursts into a monologue, it's less of a conversation and more of an auditory earthquake. And this time, the earthquake's epicenter? Caitlyn Clark. Yes, the WNBA's newest walking bucket, logo sniper, and part-time destroyer of egos has managed to get Mr. Volume Level 100 himself to combust into verbal fireworks, explaining why she might just be the MVP this season.
Including this three-pointer that was deeper than the three she hit when she broke the all-time NCAA score record. Big Perk, what are your expectations for Caitlyn Clark this season?
Man, Stephen A., she is just different. She's special. Just a different type of electricity, man. Did you hear the roar of the crowd while that shot was in flight? Like, I'm expecting big things from her, especially MVP-type conversation things. Like, I think she's ready. She know it's her second year. She know what type of physicality is going to take. Look like she's always in great shape, never afraid of the moment. Again, we're talking about Caitlyn Clark here. The spotlight been on her for years. She's not going to shy away from it. I expect her to be in the MVP conversation.
Well, let's remember this. Last year, in her rookie campaign, it was immediately after she had gone to the national championship game in the NCAA tournament, and then less than 2 months later, she's got a WNBA season where she started and played all 40 games, finished as a unanimous Rookie of the Year, all WNBA first team, finished fourth in league MVP voting, and then I'm looking at the regular season leading all...
Stephen A. Smith's Thanksgiving-level eruption wasn't about LeBron or the Cowboys this time. Instead, it was fueled by the notion of Caitlyn Clark claiming the MVP title as a rookie. Smith unleashed a wild, incredibly entertaining rant, passionately arguing his case. Prepare yourself, because if you weren't already convinced that Clark is an MVP candidate, Stephen A.'s impassioned outburst might just be enough to scream you into agreement. He truly went full dramatic over the rookie sensation.
Leading all rookies in scoring, field goals made, three-point field goals made, assists, steals, and minutes. She's the real deal. Make no mistake about it.
Lena Smith, a man synonymous with volume and fervent opinions, is anything but subtle. His on-air segments are less discussions and more sonic booms. His latest vocal explosion? Caitlyn Clark. The WNBA's rookie sensation with her dazzling scoring and fearless attitude has ignited a full-blown verbal inferno from Smith. He's passionately and loudly making the case for why Clark, in her very first year, deserves serious consideration for the MVP award. Prepare for a passionate, high-decibel defense of the rookie phenomenon. If you support Caitlyn Clark, subscribe our channel and comment CC is the GOAT down below.
What does she mean to women's sports?
I just think that she's elevating the profile of women's sports in a way that most women should deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate. She's a phenomenal player. She's a phenomenal shooter. I call her the Steph Curry of women's basketball. I've been calling her that since last year.
Let's be clear. Stephen A. Smith doesn't merely talk, he performs. Discussions aren't his style. He seizes the moment, interrogating the air and scattering arguments like confetti. When Caitlyn Clark arrived in the WNBA, effortlessly draining shots from improbable distances, it was inevitable Smith would turn her into a theatrical event. And he absolutely did. His passionate, high-octane delivery has transformed the conversation about Clark into a spectacle, a testament to his unique bombastic style. He's not just analyzing basketball, he's creating a dramatic production, with Clark as the undeniable star and his own voice as the booming soundtrack.
You want to promote the sport. You put that girl up in there, and people were appalled at that notion. That was the subject.
In a vibrant burst of energy, filled with animated gestures, catchy phrases, and daring comparisons, Stephen boldly proclaimed what many already suspected, but hesitated to admit. Caitlyn Clark is unquestionably that girl. An MVP-caliber talent who commands the court with confidence, she's the type of player who demands the ball and leaves defenders scrambling. Her unstoppable style makes seasoned opponents question their skills, and front offices second-guess every pick that didn't land her earlier. Clark's presence is electric, her game undeniable, and Stephen A. made sure everyone knew she's a force to be reckoned with, an undeniable superstar in the making.
What's crazy is you had Monica McNutt, Andrea, Shanae, all on the panel right before the game, and they had a graphic, an interesting graphic that popped up, showing that Caitlyn Clark had the best odds to win the MVP this year.
And yet there he was, dissecting her game with the fervor of a man channeling the basketball deities. You could almost sense the ESPN camera's recoil as he launched into his impassioned analysis with the subtlety of a bull in a china shop. Amidst declarations like she's an absolute superstar and emphasizing that it's about more than just scoring, he likely startled a few crew members and possibly even damaged some equipment. But the core message? Unmistakably clear. Caitlyn Clark has arrived, effortlessly sinking logo threes as if they were simple layups, and making opposing defenders appear to be navigating the court through thick molasses. That's not hyperbole, that's simply another day at the office for Caitlyn Clark. Now, let's not suggest this was a sudden revelation for Stephen A. We shouldn't pretend he hasn't been a vocal advocate for Caitlyn Clark for longer than many of us have entertained the notion of a 4-count line in the WNBA. He's been championing her as if she embodies the offensive prowess of Steph Curry, the fiery competitiveness of Diana Taurasi, and the strategic court vision of Sue Bird, all while possessing a knack for viral social media moments.
So let's start with our 2025 WNBA MVP, and that has to go to the one and only Caitlyn Clark. You can say I'm glazing, you can say I'm hyping her up too much, but I truly think that this second year for Caitlyn Clark is going to be like nothing we have ever seen.
But here's where the narrative truly intensified. Smith didn't just tentatively propose that Caitlyn Clark might be an MVP candidate. No. He asserted with absolute conviction that she is the MVP, right now. He questioned the very premise of the standard MVP discussion when faced with a legitimate superstar dismantling professional competition in this manner. It wasn't a suggestion. It was a definitive statement, a powerful declaration that reverberated through the broadcasts with the kind of authority only someone who has observed and understands true athletic excellence can command. Smith's commentary effectively jolted the conversation into a different reality, as if proclaiming, "Cease the hesitation, witness the extraordinary unfolding." The implicit message was undeniable. Caitlyn Clark didn't come to simply be a participant, she came to seize control. She arrived to revolutionize the game, to force a reevaluation of what constitutes dominance at this elite level. Suddenly, the MVP discussion wasn't an abstract concept for sports aficionados. It became a full-fledged, televised assertion. It felt as though countless screens were suddenly illuminated with the same fiery intensity typically associated with crucial playoff moments and heated political debates.
You got a girl here who's box office in Caitlyn Clark. She is box office. We can lament it all we want to, but the fact of the matter is Caitlyn Clark is box office. And we got to get that out the way. And I'll get into all of that a little bit more in just a second because it's very, very important that we point this out. She fills seats. She brings the cameras. She brings national publicity. It's what she does.
But why confine the conversation to just MVP? Honestly, that might be selling the phenomenon short. Let's take a moment to genuinely appreciate the almost surreal reality of Caitlyn Clark's rookie season. This isn't simply a promising debut, it's a statistical outlier that has data scientists in a state of bewildered awe. Muttering about advanced metrics and true shooting percentages, she's scoring points with the relentless efficiency of someone exploiting a game mechanic, delivering assists with the precision of a master strategist, and snatching rebounds as if gravity itself is bending to her will. And the sheer number of defenders left needing rehabilitation, thanks to her ankle-breaking crossovers, is staggering. She's playing with the effortless dominance of someone who has unlocked hidden abilities, pulling up from distances that would be considered ill-advised for anyone else. Her shooting range is audacious, almost disrespectful. Her calm under pressure is surgical. It's as if she were designed in a top-secret laboratory dedicated to crafting the ultimate basketball specimen, a perfect fusion of Steph Curry's shooting, Diana Taurasi's competitive fire, and a cold-blooded killer's instinct. We are witnessing a rookie campaign that is not just breaking records, but completely rewriting the script for what is possible.
Still talking about her. And who's to say they ain't gonna lose again and not win a championship? We're still talking about her. Remember, when Bird and Magic, as phenomenal as they were, the champions that they were, there came a point where despite the greatness of them as individuals and the greatness of their teams collectively with the Hall of Famers they were playing with, we were still talking about Jordan. Before he won the title, Tim, am I lying? Wendy, am I lying? We were talking about him. When's his time? Because we were clamoring for it. And I'm telling you, that's what people, when it comes to women's basketball, are going to be doing with Caitlyn Clark, especially.
Caitlyn Clark isn't just a rising star. She's the kind of force that makes you wonder if the WNBA secretly decided to drop a generational cheat code into the league just to shake things up. She's redefining what a rookie should look like. Most rookies are supposed to struggle a little, maybe get lost in a few defensive rotations, perhaps get sent to the bench after a brutal 2-for-11 shooting night. But Caitlyn? No. She shows up, drops 30, hits a buzzer beater, and proceeds to sign autographs for crying children while simultaneously wrecking defensive schemes designed by grown adults with mortgages. Stephen A. saw this and did what Stephen A. does. He exploded. But let's not forget the real genius behind this moment. It wasn't just that he was praising her. It was how he praised her. With the force of a man trying to simultaneously win a debate, cook a Thanksgiving dinner, and conduct a gospel choir about 3 octaves above sane volume. At one point, you could swear he was about to levitate. This isn't just basketball, it's performance art with a hoop.
This girl is a superstar. I've been saying it for years. I keep telling everybody she's the Steph Curry of women's basketball, college or pro. She is a superstar.
And then, of course, came the inevitable comparisons. Because let's face it, Stephen A. Smith can't go 5 minutes without dragging in some legendary name. Like it's a reflex he can't control. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. The holy trinity of basketball references. Stephen A. flew through them like he was speedrunning through NBA 2K My Team cards, trying to get that perfect lineup. He wasn't missing a beat. You could almost hear him mentally counting the stars as he rattled off the names of basketball icons from every era. But here's the thing. Caitlyn Clark didn't need any of that. She wasn't looking to fit into someone else's mold or legacy. She didn't need to be the next Magic or the next Bird. Caitlyn wasn't trying to live up to some mythical standard. She's not the next anybody. No, she's the first Caitlyn Clark, and that's more than enough. She's carving out her own path, one 3 commencer at a time, rewriting the game for herself. The comparisons? They're nice, but they're not her story. So she's creating her own. And frankly, that's way more exciting. She's a supernova forging her own galaxy.
Last year, and to speak to her, to be around her, she's got charisma, she's got style, she's got bravado, she's got class, she's smart as hell. Communicates her thoughts very, very well. She is so incredibly marketable that what she is doing on the collegiate level, her coming into the WNBA, you could just feel, I don't want to use the word resentment at all because it's not fair to women basketball players out there who may have critiqued her. But what I'm saying is that when you're talking about her greatness it is perfectly okay for those who have been great to say, okay, let's see what you've got.
And while Stephen A. might have been verbally steamrolling his co-hosts and ramming every sports cliche into his declaration of Caitlyn's greatness, there was truth buried beneath all that drama. Real truth. Clark isn't just a scorer. She's a floor general, a playmaker, a shot creator, a crowd magnet, and a stat-petting unicorn all wrapped in a headband and fire. Now, it wouldn't be a Stephen A. rant without some unhinged metaphor. One second, he's comparing her range to missile systems. The next, he's talking about how defenders look like they've stepped into a Caitlyn Clark horror movie. And let's face it, he's not wrong. Watching Caitlyn Clark play defense on a fast break is like watching someone defuse a bomb with 0.8 seconds left. She's everywhere and nowhere. Blink and she's already 3 moves ahead of you. By the time defenders realize she's got the ball, she's already posted the highlight clip. And yes, the MVP conversation does require a bit more than just razzle-dazzle. Consistency, leadership, and impact on team success. Yada, yada, yada. But when Stephen A. yells, people listen. And right now, he's yelling about Caitlyn Clark being MVP level, and honestly, it's hard to argue when she's playing like she's got cheat codes enabled.
I love this woman. I really do. I love this young lady. I had the pleasure of doing an event with her, during Iowa's homecoming, because my man Mark Shapiro for WNBA took me down there, and we were a panelist. 10,000 people showed up. It was absolutely phenomenal. This girl is the best in the world.
But Caitlyn's checked those boxes and triple underlined them. Her team wins more with her. Opponents build game plans around stopping her. Networks change their schedules for her. She's not just a player, she's an economy. And let's not forget ticket sales. The WNBA hasn't seen this kind of buzz since Lisa Leslie was dunking in slow motion, and people thought that was the peak. With Caitlyn in town, you need 2 security guards and a small miracle just to breathe in her general direction. Of course, the skeptics come crawling out of the woodwork like cockroaches at the sight of success. But she's a rookie, they whine. She hasn't earned it yet, they mutter, while clutching their autographed bobbleheads from 1998. And to that, Stephen A. gave the verbal equivalent of a napalm strike. MVPs aren't about age. They're about impact. And Caitlyn Clark is leaving a crater. She's not waiting in line. She's building her own.
Caitlyn Clark is coming. Some people think she's already arrived. I don't. I think she's going to be even better. And I think that what she has done for women's basketball, especially in this country, has been phenomenal. There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player.
This season, MVP might as well be an acronym for Most Valuable Problem, because that's what she is for every opposing coach. They lose sleep, age prematurely, and invent defensive strategies on the spot that still end with her draining a 30-foot through the smile of someone who knows they own the arena. Stephen A. didn't just go off, he detonated. The man was out here screaming like Caitlyn personally dunked on his taxes, but behind every burst of dramatic over-enunciation, there was admiration. Caitlyn Clark is doing something special, and even a professional shout machine like Smith couldn't contain it. And let's talk about the vibes, the aura, the Caitlyn Clark effect. Suddenly, every road game is sold out. ESPN's cameramen are on a first-name basis with the fans because they're covering every single Clark warm-up routine like it's the Super Bowl halftime show. Opposing players, they're switching assignments mid-game just to avoid ending up in a meme. Her impact is undeniable, a force of nature the league hasn't seen in years. Meanwhile, back on ESPN, Stephen A. Smith is having what can only be described as a full-blown religious experience. His voice is ascending to a frequency that can only be compared to a choir of angels. If the angels were on a serious caffeine buzz and had just seen the most jaw-dropping play of their celestial existence. The man is speaking with the kind of passion that could move mountains, or at least send your TV into a brief panic mode, as his pitch hits levels not legally approved for daytime television. You can practically hear Molly Kareem shifting nervously in her seat, adjusting her earpiece, as if she's trying to escape the sonic boom of Stephen A.'s fervor. Somewhere in the studio, a coffee mug spontaneously combusts from the sheer intensity. But here's the thing. His message is loud and clear. If you watch basketball, if you understand the game, if you truly believe in those rare, magical moments that make the sport legendary, then Caitlyn Clark's name should be printed in all caps on your MVP ballot. This isn't just an endorsement, it's a sermon. And brother, this sermon is on fire. Stephen A. is making it clear. The MVP conversation begins and ends with Caitlyn Clark.
Because when she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercial. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights. She automatically and instantaneously improved the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games? Are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible.
This isn't a fluke. This isn't hype. This is a player changing the temperature of the league. WNBA Twitter is on fire. Fans are arguing stats like they're fighting for custody, and highlight reels of Caitlyn casually disrespecting defenders are replacing therapy for several teams. And yet, through it all, Caitlyn Clark just keeps doing what she does. Scoring like it's a bodily function, smiling like she hasn't just murdered your playoff hopes, and somehow still finding time to drop 10 assists because why not? She doesn't ask for flowers. She drops 35 and lets the bouquets arrive in the mail. Stephen A. just happened to deliver his in the form of a passionate TED Talk that somehow involved more yelling than most car crashes. And look, the MVP race is crowded. There are legends still cooking. Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and others still exist. Stephen A. may have sounded like he was trying to summon Zeus with every syllable, but he wasn't wrong. Caitlyn Clark is the real deal. And if you've got a problem with that, well, prepare to be outshined by a rookie whose idea of a casual game involves bending the space-time continuum. So as the season rolls on and the debates rage, and Stephen A. continues to shatter the sound barrier, remember this. The MVP trophy isn't just about legacy, it's about now. And right now, Caitlyn Clark is the gravitational center of the WNBA universe. And if you still don't believe it, just wait until the next time she pulls up from half court, winks at the camera, and casually dismantles your argument with a smile. Because if Stephen A. Smith, human foghorn, lord of hot takes, mayor of max volume, then yeah, she probably already is, commanding attention and reshaping the league's landscape. If you're a Caitlyn Clark fan, drop a CC in the comments below. If you enjoyed leave a like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.